Are you getting what you want in the relationship that you're in? Or can you think back to a relationship that you were in or somebody that maybe you haven't gotten over? Are you or were you getting what you wanted out of the relationship? And by the way, make sure you subscribe because I'm not one of those people that's just telling you about an attachment style. I actually live it. This is something that I struggle with in romantic relationships. I tend to be more secure in other areas of life, but in romantic relationships, I tend to be fearful avoidant. Not only that, but I'm a counselor. I have 2 master's degrees. I majored in psychology. I have literally worked with thousands of people. I actually have something that I'm pulling from. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't as I uncover this journey, because this is something that I often avoided dealing with, and now I'm dealing with it. So I think we can learn a lot together. Back to my question, when we're talking about ideal relationship, we're not talking about perfection. There is no such thing. When you're in a relationship, you are going to grow. You're going to learn. You're going to learn from each other. You're going to strengthen yourselves. You will probably become weaker in some areas. You will compromise. You might take some risks. You may regret some things. It is a learning opportunity. You are forced to learn because you have 2 different personalities coming together, trying to unite and navigate as one. And that is exhilarating, but it can also be challenging. And those challenges can be a great thing. And sometimes we don't see those things while we're in it, but we learn about what we want, what is acceptable, what is not, what are we willing to compromise on, and what are non-negotiables. So if you are in a relationship, it could be somebody that you feel is your soulmate. You feel like this person, you have that unexplained chemistry that I talk about in one of my videos. You just feel something that you can't explain, but it's not one of those relationships where you have the list, these are the things I want, and yet you're not feeling that unexplained chemistry. And yet you find yourself in a relationship with somebody where you feel like, I have been waiting for this person my whole life, or I've been waiting to fall in love again for years, and it's finally happening. And then you get deeper into the relationship, and there are some things that you're like, wait a minute, there's something that's just, I feel disrespected in a way, even though this person is good to me in every way. So you might say in this ideal, quote unquote, because we're going to call it ideal for now, relationship where you're like, you love gifts, you love giving gifts, you love receiving gifts. It's one of your love languages, and you love being able to express to somebody by giving them something meaningful. And then you find out your ideal person is like, I don't like gifts. I hate looking for them. I don't like receiving them. It makes me feel icky. And you say to yourself, you know what? I can compromise on that actually. Shockingly, I can compromise on it. If he doesn't mind getting me gifts, I could just like at Christmas, make a list and tell him, these are the things I want for Christmas. You choose the one you want to give me so that it's a bit of a surprise. And that way he doesn't have to figure it all out. And he doesn't want anything. So, okay, I won't buy you anything. On the other hand, he might be like, I love quality time. I like going to parties. I like working the room. And you feel like, I don't want anybody in my house. I don't feel good about that. I feel drained. I don't want to work the room because I don't know how. I feel totally uncomfortable. And he might be like, yeah, but you know what? When we're at the parties, you can cling to me and I'll do the legwork, and we can just enjoy being together. Or he might say, I'll go to the party and represent both of us. I'm cool with that. He might not feel like, oh my gosh, this is a deal breaker. So you find that you can compromise on that. But one of the things that I've learned about men, and I've written about it in my book, Flip the Script on Love, and it was a chapter that I talked to people about, and they kind of didn't get. Because men tend to compartmentalize, that means they keep things separate. They can keep their home life separate from their workplace. Whereas sometimes women will blend the two, like, here's my kids, here's a picture of them, here's my husband, and let's talk about it. They kind of keep them compartmentalized. And I said in my book, that is a great way to know when men are cheating, because they don't multitask very well. If he's a mama's boy, he's going to split his time evenly. I've got to go over and cater to my mom. So while he's catering to his mom, his wife feels like something is missing. I'm missing him because he's all the way over there. Then he comes all the way back over to the wife, and she's like, and the mom is like, well, I'm missing you. And so he's not blending the two or just saying, hey, I'm not doing both. So the same happens with cheating. It's like he's all the way over there and then he's all the way over here. And he might be creating some rules to keep the two people separate. And what I'm saying to that is, you might be feeling like something is a little off with your quote unquote ideal relationship, where you feel like, what is going on? Like, he won't hug me. He won't hug me. He doesn't want to hold hands in public. I feel like that's a non-negotiable for me. I need hugs. It could be, and this might sound a little crazy, that he is preserving his hugs for another woman. And that's how he's keeping it separate. That's how he's dealing with his guilt. He has a secret girlfriend somewhere else. And so he's not giving you all of his hugs and kisses because he's giving her all of his hugs and kisses. And he's trying to make things fair in his mind so that he doesn't have to deal with the guilt. So he's treating you each separately and differently and trying to compartmentalize. And so you feel like, what is going on? So that would be one of those things that I say, is that a part of your ideal relationship? Asking yourself the hard questions. Can I live my life without hugs? I can compromise on the gifts, but I can't go without someone being affectionate and loving. And he's training me to not accept hugs because he kind of pushes me away or gets squeamish or tightens up. He's training you to accept something that you are going to need and want in the long run. You're not going to like eventually hesitating when you feel like you need to be cuddled or you need to hug. I heard this guy say, I hate hugging and I get really hot. So I don't like my wife sitting on me or near me or for long periods of time because I sweat really easily. But he learned to do it because he loves her and that's something that she needs, and he's learning to actually enjoy it. So we have to figure out, for our ideal relationship as disorganized attachment style, what things can you learn to do because he likes them and you're willing to do it because you love him, even though it's not really your thing. And what things are you willing to release because he's just not into that. And what things are you saying, that is not going to work for me in the long run? And dig a little deeper. It could be because, yes, you are his ideal person, but he's also involved with this other woman that you don't know about. And men don't like breaking it off with women or hurting them. That is very difficult for them to do. He might still be grappling with that, even though you feel like this relationship is going beyond just dating. Like there's something more here, but he's putting up some boundaries. Is that what you deserve? Is that what you feel like? And he may not have a chick on the side. He might not have somebody else that he's dating. And these are just simple. Trying to make it simple because there might be something way more complicated that you're dealing with that you're like, why is this guy so right on these things, but so wrong on these things? Sometimes you have to make a hard decision. And at the core, you have to ask yourself, am I getting treated the way that I feel like I deserve to be treated? And I think people with disorganized attachment styles can have a very strong ego because they had survival mechanisms where it's, I'm not going to live my entire life, and they have to work towards this, some of them. I'm not going to live my entire life being misused and abused. You have to practice that. But then I think there are some who just have an incredible ego. Maybe they didn't develop narcissism, so to speak, but they can have, I don't want to say confidence. It's confidence. It's escaped narcissism because it's right underneath. Like you have a pretty darn big ego. And in some ways, you should have that ego. Men do like it when a woman has standards and boundaries and doesn't just let him walk all over her because he's hot, he's sexy, he's so yummy, he's the ideal. Because there's a part of disorganized attachment that can start to crumble. It's like, I like you so much, I love you so much, and my anxious side has been activated and I don't care. I can't handle losing you. I'm not in that frame of mind. I don't know why I feel the way that I do about you, but I just do. So if you want to walk all over me, go ahead. But then they've got that secret thing in their pocket that they can pull out. And that's their egotistical avoidant side. And that side says, who do you think you are? I'm not accepting crumbs. I don't care who you are. And you know what? It's probably easier to be without you than it is to be with you. Because in a relationship, you have to compromise and you have to look pretty, or you have to look handsome, or you have to do all these things. And you know what? I know how to be alone. I know how to be by myself, and I'm going to exercise that. And to take it a step further, they kind of dabbling underneath that narcissism is I don't care if I'm being unfair. They can push into that because when they start trying to grapple in what's fair, he did this for me. He carried my heavy things. And I'm using the word he because I'm a female. It's easier in a video to kind of stay in one instead of him or her, he or she. However, if you're a man, you apply it to your standards and what you expect in a relationship. And sometimes we do have to be fair, because we can be unfair, fearful avoidance, where we just dump and run. Like, I'm not explaining anything to you. Sometimes it's fair to say this is what the issue is, because in relationships, you need to develop a muscle of not running every time, but actually working through and talking through and being honest and taking the chance that your honesty could make someone leave. But if you want to be fair to the other person, and also in some regards fair to yourself and getting what you want, sometimes that means just saying, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now, or show them in some way, I didn't appreciate that. I didn't like that. I'm not okay with being treated in a trivial way. And if you think I'm going to let you get away with that, I am not. Let's say you know, or you found out that he has a girlfriend and you're still interested because you say, well, he's not married, and you're trying to turn that dial off. You definitely need to make a decision. You definitely need to make a decision, and you need to know that you are setting yourself up for potential hurt. So you might say, when you're single, or if you're ever single, then I'll deal with you. But until then, you don't want to teach somebody that you're going to go along with someone who's in a relationship. You don't want to teach them that. You don't want to teach them that you're okay with that. You want to be strong. You want to be tough. You want to work through your junk, because you can't help how you feel or who you fall for. That is beyond your control. But you can exercise your avoidant muscle and really work on reasons to pull away, to dismiss, to get out of situations. Even let's say he doesn't have a girlfriend, and there are just some things that you're like, okay, he is learning to mistreat me, and I don't want to teach him that that is okay. I don't care who he is. So I don't care if he's famous. I don't care if he's a millionaire. I don't care if he's my brother's best friend. I don't care. You don't get to disrespect me or mistreat me, and I don't want to teach you that that's okay. Here's where things get a little confusing for fearful avoidant. You have to ask yourself, am I being reasonable and rational? And that can be very difficult to do, because they will search their minds. Is it because I'm needing to pull away? Is it because I'm looking for a reason to run away, get away, escape? Is it because being in a relationship is overwhelming at times and I'm looking for an excuse to leave? Am I being too hard on the person? Are they doing all these wonderful, amazing things? Is it okay to let go of some slights or a temporary bad mood of the other person when you know you feel like a grouch and they deal with your grouchiness? You have to ask yourself those kinds of tough questions, because it could be you're subconsciously looking for a reason to get out of something that's actually really and truly amazing. So you have to know, okay, when do I quote unquote check someone and let them know I didn't like this? Or are you going to needle the person to a point where they can't be anything, they can't be themselves, because you find something wrong with every little thing that they do? You also don't want to be that person. So let's take a moment to focus on what an ideal relationship looks like for a fearful, avoidant, disorganized attachment style. So disorganized attachment styles often reflect a complex interplay of fear, anxiety, and unpredictability in relationships. Individuals with this attachment style may have experienced inconsistent or traumatic caregiving in their early years, leading to difficulties in establishing secure connections with others. In an ideal relationship for someone with disorganized attachment style, the goal would be to cultivate a safe, stable, and nurturing environment that addresses these underlying fears and promotes healing. In such a relationship, partners would prioritize open and honest communication, creating a space where vulnerabilities can be shared without judgment. Trust would need to be gradually built through consistent and reliable actions, helping to mitigate feelings of insecurity. Emotional support would be essential because both partners work together and need to try to understand and navigate the complexities of disorganized attachment. Conflict resolution would focus on patience and empathy, recognizing that triggers may also arise from past experiences. By fostering a sense of safety and predictability, this ideal relationship would empower both individuals to confront their fears, develop healthier attachment patterns, and ultimately form a deeper, more secure emotional bond. So, in the context of a fearful avoidant attachment style, there's a couple of concepts that I want to introduce to you that are going to sound super weird, but I think they will make sense in the long run. So I saw the word long timer and I saw the word harbor. Do you know what either one of those words mean? Well, we can use these two random words that appeared to me to provide valuable insights into how an ideal relationship can develop and thrive for someone who has fearful avoidant attachment style. So, long timer is a term that we can use to describe an individual who has been in a relationship for an extended period of time. This term suggests a level of commitment, familiarity, and shared experiences that develop over time. Long timers often possess a deeper understanding of each other, shaped by their history together, which can enhance their emotional connection and resilience in facing challenges within the partnership. For someone with a fearful avoidant attachment style, a long timer relationship offers stability and familiarity. The extended duration of the relationship can help mitigate the anxiety that often accompanies fear of closeness or rejection. Over time, the partners develop a deeper understanding of each other's triggers and needs, which can foster a sense of security. This familiarity allows the fearful avoidant individual to gradually build trust as they witness their partner's consistent presence and commitment. The shared experiences accumulated during this time can create a foundation of resilience, helping both partners navigate challenges together. So you want a long-term or a long-term partner in life, husband or wife, spouse. You want that. And that means that you have to build towards that and you will benefit from your deepening relationship. So sometimes we can jump out of relationships too quickly because we're trying to protect ourselves instead of pushing through. So now the word harbor might be a little bit weirder for you to hear and get, but I think it has some very helpful qualities. So, harbor. In the context of relationships, harbor refers to the act of providing emotional support, safety, and a sense of belonging to a partner. I bet you didn't know that. It encompasses creating a nurturing environment where individuals feel protected, accepted, and valued. To harbor someone means to hold space for their feelings and needs, fostering intimacy and connection, and allowing them to express vulnerabilities without fear of judgment or rejection. The idea of harbor is particularly significant for someone with a fearful avoidant attachment style, as it emphasizes the importance of emotional safety. A partner who is able to harbor their loved one creates an environment where feelings of acceptance and protection flourish. For someone with this attachment style, feeling safe enough to express vulnerabilities is crucial. A nurturing partner can provide reassurance and validate their feelings, helping them to confront their fears rather than retreat. By harboring emotional needs, the partner fosters intimacy and connection, allowing the fearful avoidant individual to slowly open up and engage more deeply. So let's combine the two for fun. So, when combined, the concepts of long timer and harbor reflect an ideal relationship for someone with a fearful avoidant attachment style. The long-standing commitment allows for the gradual development of trust and understanding, while the harboring aspect provides the emotional safety necessary for vulnerability. This duality creates a nurturing space where both partners can grow together, ultimately helping the fearful avoidant individual to feel more secure in expressing their emotions and desires. With patience and mutual support, a long-term relationship rooted in emotional safety can transform fears into a healthy bond. So I hope you understand what I'm getting at rather than me saying a disorganized attachment style man likes a woman who is 5'4" and who has long hair and big lips and she's silly and goofy, but that's we're trying to get to the core of the matter and get past surface things. Narcissists are only into the surface. Although I will say it is okay to be physically attracted to the person that you're in a romantic relationship in. If there's nothing sexy about them or pretty or handsome, it's like, okay, well, we can just be friends. Even in the Bible, they talk about physical attraction. So I'm not saying that you can't have that, but what I'm saying is because we're trying to heal from the cracks and crevices of fearful avoidant attachment style, it's important for us to go a little bit deeper when it comes to what we want in an ideal partner. We want to feel safe enough not to inflict pain on our said person, but we want to feel safe enough to work through some vulnerabilities, to be able to take a few risks and learn that this person isn't going to just leave you, that they're going to hang in there with you. So I hope this helps somebody today. If you need more help, I wrote a book and now I understand it was probably from my disorganized attachment style that was trying to figure out the unfigurable in love, which can be very elusive to our attachment style. So check that out. I'll put the link in the description box. And we also don't want to justify narcissistic behavior, which I think this attachment style can attract narcissists or even practice some narcissism. So I wrote a book called The WORKPLACE NaRCISSiST because it is a type of narcissist that is very polished and very highfalutin. You don't want to attract that person and start justifying it as your ideal. So check that book out. And another way to feel more confident with people is to understand their MYERS-Briggs personality type, which is why I wrote the book From ENFJ with Love, all about the 16 personality types, and each description is juicy. So I'll put the link in the description. Thanks for hanging with me, lovely people, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.